Okay, low effort video time. Front suspension on this FZ is due. I think it's dampening on the left and rebound on the right. Got 10 weight, oh high flow baby. It'll work. So when I was on Rocky Mountain, I bought a Motion Pro 41mm Yamaha fork tools. I think. Yeah. Okay. This is the one that I was looking at. It's like a tool that can pull down and compress the fork spring, so you can slide the holding tool in there, so then you can take the nut off. This ain't your average basement. This is a clausing vertical mill, enough to do the job. We've also got a South Bend lathe. That's cool. But either way, the part that I am looking at is this. I don't know what this is. It's not believe if I flick this switch. Okay. I haven't really used this guy too much. I think this is a 1/2 inch by 13. That's a beautiful looking helical tap. Something. I'm just gonna go slow. We're gonna chop off a little bit over 1 inch. Oh, the saw blade fell off. Gosh dang it. There we go. Long stringy chips are what we like to see. Okay. We have officially tapped a 1/2-13 hole. Well, here we are. We're almost finished. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I will never be paying 30 bucks for a Yamaha suspension tool. Okay, next part of this is we are going to make a little shoulder. Tighten this guy down. Okay, we got off the lathe and we are all done with this project. The Yamaha suspenders, or like the holder tool. They both thread in, they both hold, and they should be able to do the job just fine. I want to say this is a DIY Yamaha fork rebuild tool, but not your average Joe doesn't have a mill and a lathe in their basement, so V-tool. Okay, I was going to use this piece, but then I remembered I've got some flat aluminum stock down here, and I think this would be the perfect use of this material. And we're going to make it like 400 thousandths. After consulting my tap drawer, I actually did find a 13/32 drill, or mill, and that seems to be right at 400 thou, a little bit over. So I'm thinking we just use this guy. Raise that table up, this thing up 10 thou. Okay, we are on our last pass. Alright. Oh, I loosen this guy up and take a peek at our craftsmanship. My. Looks like we did a good job. Alright. Let's get them big burrs on that corner off. Alright, and then we can actually use a deburr tool. We got 2 parts, baby. Let's go. Faster. But overall craftsmanship, I'd say we did pretty good. And we saved ourselves $28 and 3 to 4 days of shipping to get this project done. So, alright. We got the tire off the ground. Let's throw this thing back in there. First things first, let's loosen this sucker up. Ooh. Calipers off. We'll hook it on the throttle. There we go. All right. There we go. We gotta pry the thing open just a little bit. On top. Okay. I have to use my leg a little. Okay. Okay. That's left-hand components. This is all right-hand components. All right. All right. We are looking good. Let's get these cracked oil seals up, and at least just up for a little bit. And all right, there we are. Let's try to pry up just a little bit, and then they pop right up. Just right there, and it pops right out. You got to be careful. Pardon me, I skipped a step. Pretty much the right fork, pretty much this bushing right here came off sooner, or came off very soon. It was just loose, I guess. Doesn't really look like it's worn too non-uniformly. It looks very uniform wear, but more than this guy right here. And this one is pretty tight compared to this one that is quite loose, hence why it came off. So kind of ran into a little issue. So we need a damper rod holder, which is like a crisscross section with each one of these little square things is 460 thousandths. So I need to figure out a way how I'm gonna hold that to remove this, if I am gonna remove it. Here's what it looks like. So let's consult the scrap pin and see what it looks like. Okay, we found a viable piece of material for the damper rod holder. Okay, so we changed the high-speed steel bit and we bumped up the feed just a little bit. We got 5 thou to go. Oh. Alright, well, we overshot by about 5 thou, but that won't even matter. This thing will do its job. Okay, I decided to not record all the mill work of me making a flat here to indicate, and then using a test indicator to make sure I'm level and all this other stuff, but I was able. It's 467 is the diameter that these need to be, and plus I gave them a little bit of a I made them a little bit oversized and gave them a little bit of a taper. So now this thing will plop in here and it will keep it from holding, and I think it's enough to take off and put back on, torque this bolt on the bottom. All I need to do is figure out a way how I'm going to extend this, and I don't. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have done it. I've made a damper rod holding tool for Yamaha's forks. Alright, so we got the tool in here seated, and now let's start taking this thing apart. Okay, damper rod assembly is going in. Cleaned out this side of the fork really well as best I could. got the Loctite. Almost forgot it. Okay, torqued it to 17 foot-pounds, and now we are on the road to the next step. So in installing this, it goes dust seal, clip, oil seal, then I believe it goes washer, the flat washer, the medium thick size bushing, and then on the end after all that is the thinner, bigger bushing. Now the manual does recommend you use a plastic bag of some sorts, and you pull the bag, it will slide right down. It's not too big of an issue. Alright, now we can save this clean bag for, I believe it goes like so. Now I don't know if you guys can see this, but there it is. We have to put this here bushing down inside where the there's a slot where this bushing goes. It's not right, and I'm going to be using that fork seal driver for, so hopefully you guys can still see that. Cool. There we go. You hear that? You hear that tone of the tone that just changed? How it was kind of a dull tone, and then now it's a clack. That most likely means we are at the bottom, and that looks very flush with the another shoulder in there. So I'd say that's at the bottom. Now it'd be seating the fork seal. So that's what I'm going to do now. You hear that? It changes the tone. Do this is you just hook one end in and then work it around with your thumb, and then you get a screwdriver, and be really careful because you don't want to damage anything. Just lightly pop it in, and you see this edge, it sounded like it popped in on one side, but there we go. I just turned the camera off, but you pop those dust seals in. They're a piece of cake. You just push them in by hand. Ooh. Got a little tricky there, but we did it. Okay, so now the manual says to install the cap bolt and then finger tighten the cap bolt. So you can't really get a torque wrench on this, but you torque it to 11 foot-pounds. It's been torqued. And now I'm going to remove this doohickey. Okay, so we got both the forks done, clean, and ready to go. It's much thicker than the other, but we're going to do brakes and probably bleed the brakes pretty good, because that's kind of looking darker than I imagined. I might honestly go put some Motul, high temp Motul in there and call it good, but I'm gonna get to work.